What's going on, guys? First educational YouTube video. Actually doing this in about 2 weeks, I think. Last video I put out was that vlog of Miami. Just got back, I don't know, 4 days ago, 3 days ago. But I hope you guys watched that. Hope you enjoyed, the fun lifestyle that we've been trying to live. So this video, this is really a lot from personal experience. This video is, as you read from the title, how to adapt to the Trump markets, and that might be one of the biggest things that you are going through right now. The Trump markets, they're very hard to trade, and before I even get into anything, I'm just going to show you like a few examples of what I even mean. Like, the biggest issue right now is just scaling with size, because obviously when you're looking at a trade, you're seeing these ranges, and these ranges are usually, if you set up a stop loss, you're usually running like a what? Actually, here, let me move my camera. There we go. So you're usually running what, a 150 tick, maybe 200 tick, 25-ish, 30 points stop loss, whereas now it's 100, 150, maybe even 200 ticks, and that's something that you guys have to keep into account, because when you're, let's just say you're on a 50k account and you're trading one mini, usually, sure, 100 ticks, sure, that's like $500. Whereas now 500 ticks, you're now risking the entire account. That's one thing you guys have to realize. So a lot of people, including myself, are trading MNQ. If we're trading MNQ, because these ranges are becoming so big that so many people are losing their accounts when they're losing a trade. Price literally is moving. I'm going to go back to my chart here. Price is literally moving at light speed. I'm going to show you an example of a trade I took today. It was a good setup, but I'm going to show you why this failed. Obviously, I took a trade here, I looked at the data, and I realized why this failed. That's something you guys need to work on. Excuse me. Something you guys need to work on when you're trading. You need to realize, if you take a loss, look at the data, look at the reason why it was a loss, so you don't make that mistake again. I'm not saying I made a quote-unquote mistake, but I'm looking at the data I have here, what's in front of me, and I'm going to adapt to that, because one of the biggest things as a trader is adapting. And especially in the markets, ever since Trump's been in office, you need to adapt. I have not been trading the same. Me personally, and a lot of people I know, have not been trading the same ever since Trump's been in office, because we could have a really nice A+ setup, and then out of nowhere, he could just speak, and we have a 200 tick or 200 point move. So here, I'm going to show you this. So this range from this high up to this high, 760 ticks. That's a lot. Let me show you what I mean by big movement. So I got filled right here. Beautiful, beautiful execution off the last thing standing in our way, which was this 1 minute inversion that we put in right here. Got a very nice fill right there. And we ran up about 280 ticks, I think. And this was my break even. We came really close to it. ES actually did sweep out this high, so I'm just going to mark that in red before I show you anything. And we ended up pushing down within, this is like the first 20 seconds of the candle, 396 ticks. That was brutal to see. We did the same in this candle right here and held up the gap right here, as well as our inversion, which is also indicating when you see a wick like that, it's like, like it pushed all the way down, gave a nice wick like that, and closed the candle up here. Looks beautiful in the moment. If you guys want to watch the stream, go ahead, hop on that. I did make a little video of that on YouTube, or on Instagram, sorry. But stuff like this. So let me show you why this failed right here. So we ended up forming an SMT right here, and I'm going to show you why. So let's go back in time. This video is really, yes, it's a trade recap of the trade I took today, but it's also a learning lesson for you guys adapting into the markets properly. So as you see, we took out this high. We did not take out that break-even high, which is what my break-even high was. I had an alert set there and an alert set there, because if one of them does and I see a reversal, I close my position. So we formed an SMT right here. We took that high. We did not take that high. That is a big indication of why we started to melt. So I'll clear this up just a bit and show you guys. All right, so on our 2 minute, as you see, we have this 2 minute gap right here that we end up inverting. And what does price do? Price retraces into that and starts melting off of that, off this 1 minute order block. As soon as we did all of that, this was indicating, obviously, we're going to keep going lower, right? My stop loss was right here. But my whole trade idea was off sweep of this low right here, because coming into this, let's look at the hourly, and just, obviously this is a hindsight, ignore this one candle right here. Coming into the hourly, if we want to go higher, if we want to go short, I did want short coming into the day. That was my only objective though. So once this was met and we were sweeping that on the 5 minute, 15 minute, looking really nice, highs look pretty probable to at least our high formed after data high, which was I think 832. So this is what I looked at. In order for us, if we want to go lower, I mean, we got this massive gap here, but we also got a ton of lows down there. That's a long ways away. So that was 7,000 ticks. That's my point right there. So that's really why I took short. And obviously we saw what happened. It's hindsight now, but main reason, ES started moving down and gave a short position. That's why. So this lesson that I'm going to give you guys that I learned from this trade specifically, and I'm going to set this back up for you here, is how do we adapt to the Trump markets? How do we adapt? Everyone's calling it that. How do we adapt to this and learn from this, and how can we become better? One of the biggest reasons is de-risking, or one of the biggest ways. I'm going to write all this down for you guys, so please take value from this. De-risk. I have personally been de-risked by 50% since February. If I'm risking normally $1,000 per account on a trade, I'm risking $500 now. My risk is so much lower than normal just because of this very reason. We have nice setups form, something's telling us go long, go short, and it flips. Or it happened once a few weeks ago. I was in a trade and Trump randomly speaks. Luckily, it went in my favor, but we had a, I think, 600 tick move within like 30 seconds or something. Like I said, luckily it went in my favor. One of the biggest things you can do is de-risk, because you don't want to be full risking unless you have a high probability day, right? And that's one of the biggest things people are struggling with right now, because they want to keep risk on. But why would you keep risk on when you don't have, you could have a high probable setup, but when the conditions aren't the best, because we could just have a tariff announcement just dropped. Or if you guys saw the market yesterday, let me show you this. This movement up right here. This entire movement up within, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes was 5,200 ticks. That's over 1,000 points. Why did we do that? Because Trump removed the, he put a 90-day pause on tariffs. So this is really just one of the things. Why would you want to be in a position that you're fully risking when you know that at any moment, and I don't want you guys to like come into trading scared, but at any moment, would you rather be de-risked and have risk off compared to, I don't know, you want to, let's just say you want to keep a full risk? You gotta, I don't know how to word it, but you guys need to focus on de-risking heavily. And until conditions are more probable, we have tariffs that are, you know, not being pushed out as much. Like literally just yesterday, we had 142% or something that we pushed onto China, and it's crazy. And exports, the U.S. companies export a lot from China. So de-risking, you 100% need to de-risk. Second thing I say, stick to a specific time. What I mean by this is stick to like a macro. So whether that be your 9:45 to 10:15 macro or your 10:45 to 11:15 macro, you need to stick to a specific time. You want the highest probable setup, right? Let's just say it's like 12:30. Why would you take a trade when you're outside of your higher probable setup time zones? Because one of the biggest things in trading, you need to align time with price, right? I don't care if the best setup forms. I don't care if the higher time frame is telling you. One of the best things you want to do, especially when, let's just say you're a beginner trader and you don't have as much capital to work with, you want to align time with price, excuse me, so you can get the best possible trade, literally, right? Like it's me. When I come in the markets every single morning at 9:30 a.m. open when I start streaming, I literally mark out with this tool right here. I mark out 9:45, and I don't take anything until that hits. Now it's different if we have news at 10. I'm going to let that pass, right? Other than that, this is one of the biggest things you guys need to stick to. You want to stick to the highest probable sessions. Don't trade Asian session. If you want to trade London, you can maybe catch something there. Stick to New York if you can and take something in one of these two macros. You can look at PM if you really wanted, but that's it. Another thing that I personally have adapted to is you guys might see that I'm trading a little different. I'm less using a very strict structure and more so reading PA, because, okay, I'm going to write down what exactly. One of the biggest things you want to do is PA read. And what I mean by that is look at where price is going. I have an analysis every single morning, and it plays out a decent amount of the time exactly where I want and how I want. But there are times where a market can be obviously bullish, but the market's not going to do what I want, right? The market's going to do what it wants to do. So what I mean by this is, yes, do your analysis in the morning, give yourself an idea, but do not get married to a bias. Read PA. Because like I said, I've come into the markets where I see a long setting up and then out of nowhere, boom, we just melt, right? When you have volume coming into the markets like that, you want to follow volume. You want to follow all these big orders. You're just catching a little crumb of that pie, right? So it's the same thing. When you see a big movement down there, like to the downside, you're reading PA and you're reading that it's telling you it wants to go lower. For example, I'm going to draw this out. Let's just say you keep making higher highs and higher lows, and then boom, you have this big movement to the downside, indicating that you reading PA off of this, indicating you could shift here. You have a low here, you have a low here. If you retrace up, people might be like, oh, sweep of a low, let's go higher, let's go higher. You need to read PA. What is the higher time frame? After you do something like this, where's the wick telling you? The wicks tell the stories. The body tells you what it's actually going to do once the candle closes, right? If you're leaving a big wick behind like that, you're likely to just keep going lower. So I didn't want to like yap too much about this, but this is one of the biggest things that I'm personally doing coming into 2025. I've been wanting to make a video about this, but I've been de-risked. I'm not risking as much as I normally am until stuff calms down, because just think of it this way. If you're risking your normal risk and you lose a trade, and I don't know how you guys are, but me personally, I'm losing a little more than normal. I know some of you guys are probably too, and it's totally normal. You just need to adapt. You need to adapt to what you're given, because that's how you are as a trader. You react off of data. So that's number one. Number two is stick to a specific time. I don't care, like I said, if a setup forms. You are to stick to a consistent time and align time with price, and take something only in the high probable macro sessions. That will help you. And number three, just PA read, because there's so many times where if I'm strictly looking for a sweep in a CISD, especially when I'm intraday trading, that might not form, right? So I'm reading PA because it could form an inversion with a sweep, and that is the setup right there. So I'm going to leave you guys here. I really want you to go through all of this, because I just dropped a lot of sauce of what I personally am doing. And if you guys have any questions, obviously subscribe. I'm going to keep posting videos like this. Subscribe, leave a like if you like the video, and let me know what you guys want me to improve on in the comments. If you want me to keep pushing out these types of videos, you want me to push out lifestyle, anything, I'll push it out for you guys. But let me know. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.